Hey there, everybody. Just verifying I'm live everywhere. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So before we get to just the question area, I have some things to tell you. I've been very excited to get to see all of you today so I could tell you about that. So first of all, I know there are certain people around the world right now, especially in Australia and Japan, who have been waiting to hear when the hardcover version of Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious was going to come out, because that's the only format that Amazon was letting me publish out there. It is published. So I just got a notification just about 30 minutes ago that it is publishing. So it can take 72 hours, it says, for the site to fully update, but it has been released and it is really pretty. I mean, this is the, it says proof on here, but it is, it's really pretty. So most people only want it if they weren't able to get the soft cover. I tried to make the soft cover. The reason I made that is it's less expensive and I wanted it to be more accessible. It's expensive to self-publish, but this is the super high gloss, thick pages, highest quality of ink. I mean, it's beautiful. So there were some people who said that they wanted to wait for the hardcover just because you actually want me on your coffee table. I don't know, you wanted that. But for the people who were unable to get it in their area of the world, unless it was the hardcover version, it is out now. So I'm happy to tell that to all of you, because I get asked every day, whether it's in Smoothie Shred or in comments, when is the hardcover coming out? It's out. So you might not be able to see it right now. Let me do a refresh. I'll do a refresh on my screen. Publishing. All right. So right now, when I go to Amazon, I only see the paperback, but that is going to change very soon. And of course, let's see all formats. Yeah, so it's trying right now. I see the hardcover actually trying to come out. So yeah, it's trying. It'll be out within the next 72 hours. My guess is they're giving me a longer version of time. It'll probably be updated before then. So check back. And of course, I'll post it when I see it. But I wanted to tell you first, because I know there's folks that are coming to see me every week and you wanted an update. You got an update. Yay! Everything's available for you now. So whether you prefer sexy colors and thick pages and that hardcover, or you just want to get it and you weren't able to get it, now you can. So the hardcover version is out. The other thing that I'm very excited is today is the day of being published. That's what it is. Let's see if I can share my screen. I haven't shared my screen using this before. Here we go. Here we go. Let's share screen. Okay. Let's see. I don't want to share my whole screen. We don't need to do that. I want to just share part of my screen. Okay. Just in case, let me pull down anything that's somebody else's business. I don't want to share something that's somebody else's business, okay? But let me see. All right, let's try this. So share screen. Oh, look, it's letting me pick. Perfect. So the other thing that is now published is this. So I have mentioned it to you before. We are now published in Frontiers. Frontiers is a very, very good journal. It is the third most cited journal out there for doctors and scientists that are trying to look at nutrition, case studies, not even nutrition, but cases and research around the world. So it's very, very exciting. And all of these people in this case series, and I'm going to be publishing a video talking about it more detail. This is to show that not only do people quickly reverse their symptoms. This is a case series where everybody had very symptomatic lupus and Sjogren's. So they were all diagnosed with both lupus and Sjogren's, and all of the cases were symptom-free within 2 to 4 weeks on rapid recovery. So 2 of them did private 4-week rapid recovery with me, and 1 did my 6-week rapid recovery group. All of them were symptom-free within 2 to 4 weeks, and they've remained symptom-free in their maintenance programs. So that means one of them is only 3 years ago that she did my program. 1 is 7 years ago, and 1 is 8 years ago. And what this shows is that my protocol not only works to rapidly reverse autoimmune diseases, but you get to keep your results. And that's what matters, right? That's what matters, is that you get to stay well. So it's not just that I'm a mutant, okay? I am not a mutant. Well, maybe in some ways, but I am not a mutant where changing my diet got rid of my disease and I'm healthy for over 18 years. There are others out there. And so I wanted to pick a few to show that we can not only do this quickly, but you can keep those results long-term. So we pushed very hard to find a mainstream journal. You can publish cases in nutrition in obscure journals that nobody will see, but that doesn't change things. And I'm not doing this just to say I did it. I'm doing it because I'm trying to change things. So we really fought hard. It took a few years, but we finally got a really good publication to take it. And all those people were able to come off meds, not need any new meds, and stay healthy. So I'm very happy to have that done. Now we'll have to think of the next case series. I'm thinking maybe Crohn's, maybe MS and NMO, maybe long COVID. I don't know. There's so many. It's hard to pick, especially when I know it's probably going to be years till the next one, which is also why, by the way, I come straight to you, because waiting for the medical system to do the right thing, man, I'm going to be way too old by then. I just turned 47 a little less than 2 weeks ago. And I just don't know in my lifetime that we can get all of this done going through the medical world. I mean, I testify to the Dietary Guidelines Committee. I publish what I can. I'm a single person, I'm one doctor. So I don't own a hospital or a clinic, right? So, I'm doing the best I can, but the best results, the reason I've been able to change the face of these diseases and be invited to do things like what I'm doing this weekend, speaking for Permanente with 1,100 people signing up for this conference, right? The largest medical group in the country. The reason is because I've had so much results, and it's because I've gone right to the public, because I know the system is broken, but I know the protocol works. So in case any of you want to have something to take with you when you go to the doctor, you can have that. I bet actually if I copy the link and put it into the chat here for any of you who would love to access it directly, who happen to be at my Q&A, then there you go. You can check it out, but it's in Frontiers. And I will post it into my link tree as well. But I'm really super excited about that. It's always nice to be able to do that. So those are my announcements. It's all about publishing. Yay! What is the lesson of the day? I was battling myself on the lesson because there's so many that have come up this week so far. Let's do this one because it was asked me twice on Instagram yesterday in the comments. So yesterday I posted a video on hyper-nourishing as a way of life. And 2 people replied to that video. I do read the comments whenever I can. Don't always get them all, but I do try to read them. 2 people commented, but what about in the winter? And they had different excuses. One wants to balance her chi better in the winter. One wants to just be warm. I think they both want to be warm. And my answer to both of them, so let me give this to you as well, because if 2 people were brave enough to ask me that, then probably many more have that question. And of course, I get asked that in my wellness appointments as well. The nutrition your body needs does not change with the weather. Fact. The nutrition your body needs does not change with the weather. So the question should not be, can I stop hypernourishment when it's cold out? But rather, how do I make sure I get all my nutrition in while still staying warm? The question is kind of like someone saying, I don't exercise in the summer because I'm already sweaty. But the point to exercise is not just about the sweat. It's about getting the cardiovascular benefits. It's about getting the brain and cognition benefits. It's about getting the benefits for your mood and for longevity. So just because you're already sweaty, you don't stop exercising, right? Well, just because you're cold doesn't mean you don't eat raw foods. Those are not the reasons you make those kind of decisions. So the how, that's the game plan. How do I get all this nutrition in when I'm cold? Well, one thing you can do is just find other ways to warm up. I have reach up for it. My smoothie sweater. I got a sweater. So, hey, I have low body fat. When I drink something cold, I get cold. Yeah, it happens. So what do? I put a sweater on and I drink the smoothie. See, my smoothie's already empty. I finished it already. But that's all I do. I just warm up another way. Another thing you can do is have hot tea with your smoothie, right? So you have some smoothie, ooh, a little chilly, have some warm tea. Fixed. Or if you prefer, you don't have to have a cold smoothie in the winter. You can eat salads, and salads can be eaten at room temperature. So you don't want to change your nutrition or your exercise level based off of the external environment, the weather. The weather is changing. All right. I actually got a notification I might not be able to do my teaching this weekend because there's a blizzard coming, right? So the weather might change. And that's something I don't have control over. But what my body needs for nutrition, that's not going to change. My body needs that nutrition. And hey, the more difficulty there is in the world, the more stress you have, the more nutrition you need, not the opposite. So make sure that you're not making an excuse as to why you can't do it that's external to you, something you have no power over, but rather always think of, how do I do this in spite of, name this barrier or obstacle, right? This is one of the key components, by the way, of what we do in my rapid recovery group, and even in my private rapid recovery, is I teach people how to no longer have problems. Now, what does that mean, right? It means that there are things that might come up, but a lot of times people will treat an obstacle as a problem that and everything feels insurmountable. And I get it. I mean, when you've been sick for a lot of your life and nothing seems to work, and you're constantly feeling tired and you're constantly feeling hopeless, then any kind of obstacle can just make it seem impossible. Like, oh my God, just one more reason why I can't. My life sucks. I'm powerless. I don't want anybody to feel powerless. You are not powerless. You have to own the power you have. And you have the power to make choices over what you do, how you eat, how much water you drink, who you hang out with, how you talk to yourself. You do have power. And so one of the biggest trainings we work on every single day in rapid recovery is how to game plan to solve problems. And people don't know how to do this. People will always go to wanting to be better. I just started private 4-week program with someone, and she's just, I didn't get my water in, I'll do better tomorrow. And I said, no. Doing better is your goal. That's not your plan. A plan is how. How will you do better? And that's where I can sync up my brain with theirs. Once I know what went wrong, then we can talk about, oh, this is the obstacle, right? So we can go around it this way. We can go around it this way. We can go over it this way. We can go under it this way. Which way would you like to try first? And then we try that. And if it works the next day, that problem's gone. There is no problem, right? If it doesn't work, oh, we tried going this way. Well, tomorrow, let's try going this way. And then once it's gone, there is no problem. So once you learn how to effectively plan, rather than just see problems as barriers that you can't get around, now you're in control of your life. And this is one of the main reasons why people who've done rapid recovery will often tell me that they do not feel anxious anymore, usually for the first time in their life. Most people who've been anxious have been anxious, right? But it's because they finally feel like they know how to solve problems when they come up. And so they don't have to spend their time worrying about what might happen next. Because if you feel powerful over your ability to deal with problems and stress, if it comes up, you don't have to spend your time worrying about what will I do if it comes up. This is what I do. I know better than most that terrible things can happen when you least expect it, right? But you can't spend all of your time every day worrying about if something bad will happen. All that does is ruin your ability to feel good when nothing bad is happening. And so I always try to be in that space of right now is okay, and right now is safe, and right now I can reach for the good and be grateful. So all of this is connected. So it might seem very minor to say like, oh, it's cold, I guess I can't hypernourish. But that is a symptom of a more underlying problem, of a feeling of hopelessness and powerlessness to do what you need to do for your body, because there's other things happening in the world that could get in your way. And my goal is to make everyone realize how powerful you really are and that you can solve problems. And that's one of my final trainings in my rapid recovery group, is how to become unstoppable, to help each person realize I am unstoppable. I can do this on my own. I do know how to solve problems when they come up, and problems do not stop me. There are no problems. That's where I want to get you to. So make sure that you're aware of that. And hopefully this is helping you. If that's your thing, is am I really solving the problem so that I can do the thing that I need? Or am I letting the problem stop me and then feeling helpless? So I want you to make sure, check in with yourself and make sure that you're doing whatever it takes to get past the problems and feel empowered in your life. By the way, the Rapid Recovery Group is almost full. I think last I checked, we're down to the last 5 spots. So I expect those to be gone this week. It's Wednesday. They might be gone today, most likely. But if you are trying to get into the Rapid Recovery Group at goodbyelupus.com, don't wait anymore. Listen, sometimes we get cancellations and we can get a few more in, but don't count on that. I hate it when I get messages, people, I don't hate getting messages. I hate how bad I feel when someone says, I didn't get into the group. I waited too long. Can you let me in? And I have to say, no, we can't, because we can't risk the quality of the care we give by just letting more and more people come in. We have the right number that we know how we can give every single day. We can give support to every single person. And that I'm not going to compromise on. But we do want to make sure that everyone who needs to get in or wants to get in does. And by the way, you do not need to be deathly ill to do it. Sometimes people will feel guilty that they signed up because they want to have better blood sugar or blood pressure or prevent cancer that like all their sisters got. No, we welcome all. The one thing you do want to have is commitment, though. Don't sign up and then not participate. You want to sign up, and then whatever happens, you show up and you go, here's what I did today. It's a mess. And I'll go, okay, all right, let's figure out how to put this mess into piles. And then we're going to work on this pile today. All right, and we're going to work on this pile tomorrow. And we'll solve it until it's cleaned up. Right? So if you're motivated, that's what matters most. That's what I care about. We always have people like, even right now in the current group I'm already going through, we have a lot of people with kidney failure. I've also published reversing kidney failure. We've gotten people off the lung transplant list. I've helped people with severe end stage life issues, heart failure, but it's nice to have a balance. So if you're not deathly ill, but think you need that work, we do have people who come in just to work on food addiction and weight loss and other things. We welcome you all. Like I said, what matters most is commitment. Use the spot you take, because there are people who won't be able to get in once you take that spot. So just use it to create the life you want. And when people do that, I'm always thrilled for that. So that is the lesson of the day. So again, if you're trying to get those last spots of the group, that's goodbyelupus.com. And I talked about the things I wanted to talk about. All right, so let's get into what you wanted to talk about. I know you come here not just to listen to me teach, but also because you've got questions and want coaching. And this is when I do my free coaching for the public. So let's go ahead and get there. Now I'm going to move I'm moving my screen around so I can see all the questions in the different places. All right, I haven't started with Instagram first in a while, so I'm going to go there and let's pull up Instagram. All right, let's see. So Armin99, welcome. I've been doing the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol for about 5 weeks. I'm battling cold sores pretty heavily, fever, hold time. Any tips? So it's hard for me to give tips when I don't know the underlying issue someone's dealing with. So I don't know also if you had the cold sores already. So cold sores are often associated with autoimmune diseases. They also can be associated with low immunity and just being more vulnerable to things like viruses. So I'm not sure what's going on there. The biggest question I would have, so if I was meeting with you, I would be looking at one, are you fully doing the protocol, right? So a lot of times, most of the time, 99% of the time, when I meet with people for wellness appointments and they tell me that they're doing the protocol, I go through and realize they're not. I just had that happen to the person I saw right before you, and I know you're watching because you told me you come to all of them. All right, but it's like, I've been doing the Goodbye Autoimmune protocol for 12 weeks, but not really, right? Because, okay, yeah, I have been doing all these extra nuts and seeds. Okay, yeah, I also haven't been drinking water. I'm drinking tea, right? So a lot of times, although she's having great results in spite of it, but a lot of times when people are struggling, they'll come out the gate saying, I'm on the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol. But then when we talk, not really, right? So one, make sure you're fully on it, that you are hitting all the points when it comes to nutrition, sleep, self-care, mood. Goodbye Autoimmune protocol is not just about your nutrition, but it's about your whole lifestyle. So that'd be one. Two is if this was an ongoing condition you already have had and you're doing it correctly, then it just might mean that you need more time. 5 weeks is not a long time compared to a person's lifetime. So I would also then be looking at, are there other areas that are getting better? So if you have been doing it exactly as I would preach, you are happy, you are sleeping, you are fully nourished and hydrated, and that those two symptoms are still there, I would expect there to be other symptoms that are better. So that would be the other thing I'd be looking at, is sometimes the thing we most want is not what we see right away. We might see other things instead, right? So so you want to be able to check that, to be able to say, okay, what is it that is better? I have an example from my very last rapid recovery group. I have someone with complex regional pain syndrome, or just, it's an excruciating torture just to be in pain all the time. Nothing helps, right? And in the 6 weeks of the group, at first she was like, I don't feel much different, right? But then we saw her kidney function went up 20 points. And then the group just ended Friday, and she just messaged me that, like, all of a sudden there's a dramatic breakthrough in her pain level, and she's able to do something she wasn't able to do when she first joined. So it was like 6 weeks and a couple days where we saw an impact on the main symptom she wanted, which was the pain, but we could still see evidence of healing, right? So sometimes the thing you're most focused on isn't better yet, but yet there's all these other signs. So that's, since I don't know your disease, what you're fighting, how long you've had it, that's my answer to kind of attack it from all the different ways. And hopefully one of those makes sense for you. And if you are someone that really thinks you're doing all of it right and you're not getting results, that's the reason I have things like my rapid recovery group. It's not because I don't like taking days off, because that group is every single day, 42 days, weekend, holidays. We work through all of it. We have taken that group with us on our anniversary vacations. I mean, we every day, right? We don't do that because we don't want to take time off. It's because for some people, it takes that level of oversight and support to help them make sure they get it right and get those results. So if that's what you need, then that's the next step. But if you've only been trying for 5 weeks, then it's up to you if you want to start working on some of the things I just gave you. All right, let's see. You guys are all so sweet there. Hi, Diana. Hi, Hardcore and Terry. Hey, Mashaba. Mashaba. Wyatt, hello. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So TMN084 wants to know, how do you eat greens with gout and on blood thinners? Asking for my brother. Thank you. So first of all, people do better with gout on our program. I mean, gout is very sensitive to food. That was actually something I learned about in medical school. Yes, we did learn occasionally that there was food components to disease. And when it comes to gout, meat and alcohol are usually the most connected. And so we knew that even back in the day. Wow, oh my God, 20 years ago, we had that, right? So diet, hydration, it helps. When it comes to blood thinners, there's really only one blood thinner that is affected by diet that's commonly used, and that's Coumadin, otherwise known as warfarin. That one, the medication itself doesn't function properly when you elevate your healthy eating. And unfortunately, what most medical doctors will do, which makes my soul bleed a little bit every time it happens, is they'll tell people not to eat those healthy foods so that their medicine dose stays the same. No. Oh, that was squeaky. No, what do? So here's the options. I do this every day. I see people all the time on blood thinners. Listen, it's a common problem with autoimmune diseases is people have antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, and then that causes blood clots. That's what I had. That's what was causing the mini strokes that I dealt with in my 20s. So here's what you do. All right. Number one, if you want to stay with the Coumadin/warfarin, then you need to get your INR tested regularly while you increase your nourishment. And then what happens is your doctor will adjust the dosage of your medicine to go with your diet, which is the right way. I've done rapid recovery with people who are on this medicine and their doctor does not want to change that medicine. That's their favorite blood thinner and that's the one they want to use. Fine. Then we stick with that one, but they have to get their INR checked every week. And then they adjust the dosage of the medicine until finally we get the dosage that works with that dosage of food. Okay. Totally doable. No problem. There are some people who even get a home INR machine where you can test it at home and your doctor can teach you how to adjust the medicine to go with your diet. The other thing you can do, which is what I chose back in the day because I did not like having to worry about what I ate going with my medicine, is you can choose to use another medicine. When I was young, at this point, when I was having the mini strokes, it was 20 years ago because I was a medical student. The only other option was injectable blood thinners. I took Fragmin. And so that's what I did. I took the injectable blood thinners. Nowadays, there are actually newer medicines that are pills that are blood thinners that do not have dietary restriction. A lot of doctors don't like to use those just because they're less tested. Warfarin has been around forever, tried and true. And a lot of docs are in the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. So, but others are more willing to try and test things. So now you have all the different things that you can do to get healthy from those diseases and still take blood thinners as needed. And hopefully that solves it for everybody who has that issue. All right, let's switch over now. Look at Facebook and then YouTube. Let's see here. Let's go down to Facebook. Okay. Amy. Hi, Amy Carey. Okay, so this one I can actually show them. So 2 questions. Is it safe for kids to do the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol? And if you don't like eating veggies, can you live off smoothies for 6 weeks? Okay, so absolutely, children can do the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol. Sadly, I have had to do that a lot. Autoimmune diseases, as well as other diseases like diabetes, depression, and ADHD, ADD, diabetes, heart disease, all of those are more common in kids now than they ever were before. There are many diseases that did not exist in children when I was in medical school that are now common in children, like type 2 diabetes. When I was in medical school, we called that adult onset diabetes. Why? Because it happened when adults got overweight. It did not happen in children. And then that had to change to type 2 and type 1 diabetes because children were getting the same diabetes that usually only happened to adults when they got too unhealthy. Kids are that unhealthy. We can see evidence of heart disease on MRIs in children that are 7 years old. And that's all leading to the heart attacks they're going to have later. And autoimmune diseases are happening in children younger than ever. When I was diagnosed at 16, I was told I was very young for lupus. But I've treated people and helped them recover that were in elementary school. Multiple in elementary school with lupus, vitiligo, multiple sclerosis, organ failure. It's so sad. And they do well. They do well. Their bodies are growing and healing, and they're able to do it. Now, what dosage does your kid need? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with your family. I don't know how much they eat. I don't know how much they weigh. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. When you need me to personalize things, that's usually an appointment. Let me get to know you and personalize things. But absolutely you can. All right. You can always go with the water intake of an ounce per pound water intake, that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, it really depends on the kid. There are some kids that can out eat adults, So yeah, I don't know off the bat, but definitely you can give them smoothies. They can eat raw foods. You can give them the food out of this book, and make beautiful, lovely, wonderful meals for your family. If you don't like eating veggies, can you live off smoothies for 6 weeks to heal? Plenty of people have chosen that route. Remember, it's not 6 weeks though. 6 of these people have latched on to that 6-week rapid recovery group, and they have decided that 6 weeks is how long you eat raw when you're trying to do the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, which I've never said is not the case. As I showed you in that publication that just came out, sometimes people are already completely symptom-free and ready for step down after 2 weeks. And sometimes it's 4 weeks, and sometimes it's 8 weeks. And it depends on how well they did it, what their stress is like, what their sleep is like, and how committed they are, how many times they slipped up, how much are we trying to heal, how many organs are affected. There's just so much variability. And so you do it until you're symptom-free. If you're asking me if there's people who've done just smoothies until they were in remission, yes. Plenty of people have done that, especially people who don't want to deal with the idea of having to figure out like what dressings do I want to use and all that kind of stuff. A lot of that was solved with my new book because if you want to eat salad, you got to have a dressing you like, right? So once you have that dressing you like, you're pretty much set to go. But if you don't even want to deal with that, especially like single mothers, oh, I've had some single mothers in my rapid recovery group who are like, thank goodness for smoothies. I've never felt so free in my life. I make up my blenders in the morning. I put them in my cups. I'm not going to use my cup. Good thing it's empty. I put it in my cups, right? And I fill them up. And then throughout the day, I just grab a cup and go. And I've never felt so free. It's amazing. You can do that too. I've had people do that. One, because of time. One, because they don't like the taste of eating veggies. I've had people do it who have ulcerative colitis and Crohn's, who are just trying to get the easiest thing through the gut without causing it to have to compress and digest too much. So yes, absolutely you can. All right. Let me get one more Facebook and then I'll get an YouTube. All right. Jean says, I was just diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome, a blood cancer with chromosome abnormalities. I start oral chemo soon. Has your protocol work for this? First of all, I'm really sorry that you're so sick. Glad your doctors caught it and you're getting treatment. When it comes to any kind of cancer, I have to be very careful. There's very strict rules around these things. So nutrition is not considered a treatment for cancer in the United States of America. You need to do the FDA recommended treatments to be considered a treatment. Okay. That said, have people with cancer used my nutrition protocol and had good results for their health? Yes. I actually had someone reach out to me recently whose daughter was in the early stages of a blood cancer, and she put her daughter on my Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, and her next blood test was normal. And so she didn't need to start chemo, which was amazing. I've had other folks who use my nutrition protocol as part of their treatment. So they're already getting either chemotherapy, surgeries, whatever other treatments that their doctor recommends. And then we add the nutrition. And so when it comes to the nutrition is such an important factor when it comes to developing cancer and also when it comes to fighting cancer, especially through the immune system. So there's parts of your immune system that are designed to identify and kill cells that are growing abnormally. But when our immune system isn't working right because we are malnourished, we're not receiving the proper omega-3s, we're getting too much omega-6, we have toxicity in our body from fast foods and animal products, then you start to get cancer cells that are growing and the immune system can't keep up. So once you already have cancer, there's been so much growth that you are now sick. So that's hard for the immune system to catch up with, even if you get your immune system healthy. So while eating right is going to get that immune system healthy so it can identify and kill cancer cells, you're now racing against already living tumors and dysfunction. So that's why I think when it comes to cancer, it's whatever you can do to get well, whether it's surgery. You don't have one that's a tumor that you can operate on. Obviously, it's a blood cancer. Whatever it is that you need to get yourself back, and the nutrition will help. And the nutrition not only optimizes your immune function, but the Johns Hopkins research showed that there's an ingredient in cruciferous vegetables called sulforaphane that actually kills cancer cells. The ingredient itself in the cruciferous vegetables kills cancer cells. No other ingredient in food has done that. And I have a lot of research in my head right now because I'm presenting to doctors this weekend, and they just, oh man, it's like orgasms, all that research. Yeah, right. We love it, right? So I've been, but one of the most recent research articles I found in nutrition was showing how sulforaphane specifically is destroyed by cooking, even steaming. And so a lot of the research done in nutrition has just been confirming what we've been teaching for 15 years longer. But I found that to be interesting. Specifically, that cancer killing ingredient is largely killed off by cooking. So make sure you're getting your raw foods through your smoothies. If it were me and I were you, I would do whatever treatment I needed medically, and I would be eating the full Goodbye Autoimmune protocol at the same time and get that remission as fast as humanly possible. And hopefully you'll check in and let us know how you're doing, and you're doing well soon. Okay, let's get up to YouTube. All right. Okay, so Petrilla, I have PCOS and fibroids. Why would my cycle extend from 30 to 38 days while hypernourishing and whole food plant-based? I don't know. I don't say that. I'm sorry. I'm a giggler. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing because I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes people attribute things to their nutrition that has nothing to do with their nutrition. So it could be that you just had a cycle that instead of 30 days was 38 days for some reason. Could have been affected by your ovulation. It could have been affected by stress. It could have been affected by sleep. It could have been affected by many, many different things. I don't know. So it might have nothing to do with your diet, and there's a good chance it doesn't. I can tell you that people with PCOS and fibroids have done extremely well in my protocol. And we had somebody in my last group who only did my group because of her issues with painful periods. And she had 2 periods over the 6 weeks and both were painless. And she was like, did it, ready for a step down. So so that's the most important thing, is it's going to get your hormone systems as healthy as they can be. But I don't know why you had an 8-day difference. I mean, just stress alone changes your periods. I mean, when we went through some horrific stress in December, and my cycle got really weird for a couple of months. And then now I feel like I'm back to normal again. It's like anything. I mean, it's just not everything is diet, guys. Not everything is diet. I know I teach a lot about nutrition. The nutrition is to help optimize your health. And thankfully, my nutrition has been so good for so long that I am still healthy in spite of stress and in spite of things that have happened. I don't have arthritis. I don't have any lupus symptoms. I'm still completely healthy. Yes, right? So we need to do everything we can to optimize our health. And if some things are a little wonky or weird, it's not always your diet. Sometimes it's your stress. Sometimes it's something else. Sometimes you'll never know the answer, but you just keep going because you know what you're doing is healthy. And that's what I recommend. We won't solve every mystery, guys. Let me see. All right. There was one that I saw. Christine wants to know, can hypernourishing reduce goiters? Potentially. It really depends if your goiter is from inflammation because of autoimmune disease, or if your thyroid actually has grown in size. So that would really, that will depend. Let's see if I can do some of these fast. Can this help with reduced severity or reverse sleep apnea? Absolutely, especially because sleep apnea is typically associated with inflammation of weight. So yes. Katie wants to know, does broccoli sprouts count towards cruciferous vegetable? No, I don't count it because I haven't tested it. Can you use Kamada olives while on the Goodbye Lupus protocol? Yeah, but keep it to a sprinkle. Let's not make it a. I used to just say yes, and then someone in my rapid recovery group ate a bowl of olives as a meal, and I'm like, look what you did. Now we have to change it. So realize that the Goodbye Lupus protocol is about the nutrition that your body needs to heal. Olives are just like, let's just see if I add this and it still works. And so it appears that if people throw a few olives on top of their salad, that it still works, but it's not adding to the results. So I always recommend, if you are currently sick and it's really severe, just go with the full protocol without adding anything else. And then if you're doing well with that, then try adding olives. But you can do the reverse. If you're like, yeah, I'm overall okay, let me just see how it goes, then usually people get away with it. Let's see here. All right. Let's go over to Instagram. All right. Narupa says, Dr. J, appreciate all you do. I had a question. Your book, Goodbye Lupus, you suggest eating all veggies as raw as much as possible for practice for follow for life? Yes. And check out the video I posted yesterday on my Instagram about hypernourishment as a way of life. Yes. It doesn't mean you can't ever eat cooked vegetables. I eat cooked vegetables, but I don't count that towards the nourishment. Okay. And let's see. And Nasser wants to know, how do you decrease your testosterone levels? This one I can't help with because I don't know. I don't know why your testosterone levels are high, what's going on, right? What I know is how to optimize your health. But if I don't know the trigger or any other situation, I can't add any more to that. Sorry, but letting you know I saw it. You guys are really trying today. So Evan Fruit Paradise, why do I get acne from avocado? I don't know that either. Avocados are not inflammatory. I know that because people have eaten up to 4 avocados a day or more, even not even up to, but people love their avocados and they've fully recovered from otherwise incurable inflammatory diseases. So, but sometimes people just have a reactivity to a certain food. Oftentimes when they're sick, it's just temporary, but sometimes people just have a reaction to things that are otherwise healthy, but just their immune system has identified it and they will not let that go. It's kind of like, cats. If you've been exposed to cats since you were little, cat hair probably doesn't even bother you, but someone who's never been around cats and their immune system decided, oh no, that is bad, let's get it out, then no matter how much time passes after that, they still have their nose run after when they're around a cat. So yeah, I don't know. All I can say is if something triggers you, take it out. That's really all you got. Let's see here. Yogi Rog 5, what is the name? Oh, you asked about my book? It's called, sorry, I didn't say it. Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious. And it was my husband's idea to wear the silly chef hat. But Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious is what it's called. And thank you all for the 5-star reviews and keeping it in the bestseller status for all these months. I'm so happy everyone's enjoying it so much. All right, let's see here. Terry 224 wants to know, what's the big deal with apple cider and eating foods in a certain order to obtain weight loss? I don't know, but I can tell you it's not necessary. People are overcomplicating nutrition for health, for weight loss. It's just not necessary. Apple cider vinegar, they've actually studied it, and it makes nominal difference in weight. Like nothing that's even worth going, like reporting. It was so ridiculously small. I tell people, if you like apple cider vinegar because you like the flavor of it, use it. If you don't like the flavor of it, don't force it down. I also recently had a client that had worked with me in rapid recovery. We had done 4 weeks together, and her eczema had almost disappeared. She had like one spot left on her thumb, something like that. It was almost completely gone. She's probably watching right now. I know. And it was awesome. And then she got into this whole apple cider vinegar thing and burned out her whole esophagus because she was drinking it. And because the reflux and the pain got so bad, then she stopped hypernourishment and then started eating all the cooked stuff. And then the skin disease came back. So I'm not a big fan of that. If you like the flavor of it, enjoy. I'm not a big fan of the flavor either. It's a lot. It's strong. But no, and eating in order, unless you're talking about something like, my husband has a book called Miracle Metabolism that shows you how to use nutrition and exercise in the optimal way for fat loss or muscle building, whichever one you prefer. He will have an order to your food in muscle building, but it's only about just making sure people get nourished. So like if you're trying to do muscle building and you're already healthy, you nourish yourself first with your smoothie or salad, and then you add in things like tofu and your grains, because the nourishment is most essential for your metabolism, and the other stuff is going to modulate, your muscle size and weight gain. So in that case, yes. But other stuff that's super complicated, there's just no reason for it. Think about every other species on this planet. They eat the same thing every day, right? There's no variety. Okay, a little variety. I met a guy with a horse who said his horse loves like a certain flower that grows as a weed. So he mostly eats grass, but he finds that flower, he'll eat them all. That's his variety, okay? And the muscles are big and the horse is healthy. We're really the only ones that are looking for all that variety. And it's because we've forgotten what our actual diet is supposed to be, because humans are really good at figuring out ways to get high rather than get nourished. And I'm trying to help rescue people from that. I'm trying my hardest. Okay, let's see one more over here, and then we'll go back to Facebook. She dreams of the wild. Is there an age limit to start the Goodbye Autoimmune or Hypernourishment protocol? I care for 2 90-year-old couple, and they're a bit skeptical about all this. No, there isn't. There is an age limit. I've talked about this before, but I had the oldest client I've had so far was 100. 100. And what happened was he signed up for my rapid recovery group, and I'm going through the paperwork, and I look at the birthday and went, I think this person either miswrote they filled it out wrong, or they're 100. So I tried texting the number to say, hey, this is Dr. Goldner. I just had some questions about your paperwork. And then I got the response that this was a landline and not a cell phone. And then I knew he was 100. So then I called the number, and sure enough, he was 100. And I said, why are you signing up for my rapid recovery group? And he said, well, I got some labs done and it showed I was positive for autoimmune disease, and I don't want to die of autoimmune disease. I said, okay. So do you have access to a smartphone, the internet, Facebook? Nope. I said, okay, I'm going to refund this group for you. We're going to turn this into appointments instead, and we're going to talk on the phone. He's like, fabulous. And we talked on the phone, and he reversed his disease. and goes running every day. Well, it's been a few years. I have to check in. I don't know if he's still running. Maybe. Actually, I need to find out now. But he was running at 100 years old, doing squats, and he decided to stay completely raw because he wanted to maximize how many more years he had after that. You can be that healthy at 100. So adding nourishment, it's always a good time to add nourishment. So the only thing I would be looking at is if there's any limitations in, let's say, if they have problems with maintaining their sodium levels, if there's kidney disease that we have to look out for their nutrition. But if they're otherwise healthy, then it's a great idea. So, okay, let's see here. Let's go over to Facebook. I love getting the old folks involved. A lot of them are just like, wow, I didn't know that you could poop without laxatives. Yes, you can. The smoothies usually make them feel a lot better, a lot more energy, better bowel movements, better brain function, cognition. It's a beautiful thing to add nourishment to your body. All right, let's get to more Facebook. Okay. All right. So Nasheen wants to know, she says, my cholesterol gets normal, but my ALT and my ANA gets high after 2 months Goodbye Lupus protocols. So I actually I don't think this is right. I would love to be like, if you want to work on this, if you actually have autoimmune disease or liver disease and you're not having it come down with 2 months of doing what you think is a Goodbye Lupus protocol, then either number one, go into the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, or two, book with me or join my group. We'll fix it, because that's not what happens. So sometimes the issue is that the tests are not at the right time. So sometimes people will start the protocol, but their last test was many months ago. And so it looks like it went up when really it went down, because it's gone up and then came down. And how do I prove that? We take another test next month, and the next test will show that it's down lower. But liver enzymes will come down, ANA will come down, not up. It works. That's how confident I am in it, is I know this works. So if they're going up for real, then you're either not doing the protocol right, or you need to work more on the other factors like stress and sleep and other things, or you're not getting something right, or those tests aren't even really accurate because you're not testing them at the right intervals. But cholesterol coming down, yeah, the other one should come down too. Now, liver enzymes can fluctuate. There are some people whose liver enzymes will fluctuate. Realize that those liver enzymes, that shows that your liver is doing something. So your liver is responsible for digesting a lot of the things that come through your body, both from your food, supplements, and medications. So a lot of times when people have a temporary increase in one of their liver enzymes, especially if it's only one of them, it's just chewing on something. Maybe it was working on a medication or a supplement or something. So what matters most is that it fluctuates. You can see it come up and down. If it's up and stays up, or you have all of your liver enzymes up and staying up, then you need to be talking to your doctor, because there's something affecting your liver. So whether it's fatty liver disease, if that's the case, my protocol is going to work. Usually within 3 weeks, it's normal. But oftentimes also medications can be affecting liver function. So that's just something to check on, but definitely not my protocol. My protocol does not raise people's liver enzymes. That's just not a reality. That's not the reason if it's actually happening. All right, let's see here. Let's go back up to YouTube. Okay. All right, Sparrow wants to know, is it okay to eat fresh ground flax with water and seasoning immediately for dinner? Debate is whether it oxidizes as soon as it hits the air, even over a salad, or for the duration of the meal. So as soon as the omega-3s contact the air, oxidation begins, which is why we always recommend that when you're using flax or chia seeds, that you have them protected. So one is that you have them in your smoothie where they're protected from air and you keep it cold, right? That's why you blend that smoothie with ice or frozen fruit. Or it's in a chia pudding or something like that. Again, it's refrigerated and blended into unsweetened almond milk or water, or however you want to make it. So that's how we protect it. We keep it cold and we keep it protected from the air. If you are putting it in water, then it's protected as long as you are pulsing it when you break it down. So you pulse it gently so that you break it open without heating it up. If you just push down on that coffee grinder and break it up, it'll actually heat it up. Now you've got heat and air, and you're going to lose a lot of it. So yeah, if you just pour it over your salad, you're not getting all of the omega-3s because they are oxidizing as it sits there. If you're putting it in water, that's better. But also, it's one of the reasons why we have such a high dose of it for hypernourishment. We're intentionally overdosing people in the different nutrients your body uses for cellular repair and to optimize your immune function. And we're doing that because we're trying to get that benefit. So we're also taking into consideration that there might be some level of oxidation. So the most important thing to determine whether or not it's working for you is whether or not it's working for you. Are you feeling better? Are your symptoms going away? If yes, no reason to change it. If no, maybe add some more omega-3s in with your other meals so that can be just the extra if you prefer to eat it that way. Okay. All right. Jenna wants to know, will hypernourishment be enough to build an immune system well enough to get rid of mold toxicity? I have helped people overcome symptoms of mold toxicity. Most important thing is to get away from the mold. Your body is reacting to something, right? So I'm assuming that if you know you have mold toxicity, that you are out of that environment. But that's not always the case. Sometimes I talk to people who are still in the environment, even though they're sick. So you need to make sure you're in a mold-free environment. And then we can get the immune system healthy enough to try to fight back. Whether or not you need support from other medications or healthcare professionals, I don't know, because I don't know you. But if you need other help, there's no reason that you can't take it. And that's something that's true in general with hypernourishment, is that it doesn't mean that you can't take medical treatments. You will still continue to repair and do the job that you want the nutrition to do, even when you're using medications to help you feel better. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Debbie Johnson. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. And then Lemon, I like your name as Lemon with your question. Lemon Time says, is it normal to get a little yellow with hypernourishing? I'm a little yellow. I'm a hypernourishing, mostly vegan raw doc, and my doctor's concerned, just because your doctor doesn't know. It's normal to be a little yellow or orange. I don't know if you can tell. You can tell, right? I can see it in the screen. I have an orange tint to my skin. It looks like I have a suntan, but I don't. It's winter, and I've been in my office like the whole winter. Right? I don't sleep in the chair. But I mean, there's just not much going on. It's been cold. We've been inside. So this tan that you see, because I'm not wearing foundation or anything like that. This is just my skin color. It's why my face matches my neck, right? There's no foundation, right? This is my skin color because of beta carotene. So when you are nourished, you will get enough beta carotene to create a tint to your skin. Here, I'll move in so you guys can see me more clearly. I never use filters because I don't want anyone to meet me in person and go, oh, I thought you looked younger than that. This is me, right? You can see the smile lines. But all of this color in my skin, in my hands, all of it, that's all beta carotene. So what most people will tell me is everyone thinks I just went on vacation because I always have this tan. It's beta carotene, and that shows you're nourished. Now, depending on your ethnicity, for some people, it looks more yellow instead of orange. All right. So my ethnicity, it shows up as orange. But some people will find that the palms of their hands look either yellow or orange. And that is normal. There was actually a study done once I thought was really interesting where they took people and they used computers to do this because AI can do everything for us now. And they took the same person and took a picture of them pale, and then took a picture of them with what would be a suntan color. And then took a picture of them with beta carotene coloring, like a yellow orangey coloring. And then had volunteers judge where they looked most attractive. And what they found was that the people all pretty much unanimously agreed that beta carotene coloring was the most attractive over being pale or having a suntan, which is good news. But if you want a permatan like I've got, hypernourishment, it does it. I mean, it is absolutely super, super effective at that. And it's nothing negative. What I think alerts the doctors is, one, they're not used to seeing people who are nourished, because those of us who are nourished and healthy don't tend to go to doctors as much. We don't need to, right? And two, there are conditions like liver failure that can cause someone to turn yellow, but it turns your eyeballs yellow. You see how my eyeballs are still white? See that? Right? So the eyeballs are white, and the skin has a tint to it because you're hyper-nourishing and healthy. That's good. But if you have liver disease, it will actually make your eyes yellow. That's a disease that needs help. But the tint to the skin is harmless. It's completely harmless, and it just shows that you're well nourished. I remember once I was talking to Brenda Davis, who's a nutritionist, who sometimes I see at events, and we were comparing our hand color for how orange our hands were. You know, and it's like, yeah, look, how nourished are you? Oh, let's compare our hands and see who's more nourished. So it's a good thing. It's absolutely a good thing. In fact, when I see people who are too pale, the first thing I think is that person's malnourished. So yes, it's okay. I even have a video I did years ago that was called "Are You Orange Enough?" Because sometimes when people were first starting to do this, they were scared that their skin tone was changing, or someone who knows them was like, you look different, right? That yeah, it's totally fine, and it's a good sign of health, and you get to enjoy having a tan even in the winter. So there's the answer for that. All right, let's see here. All right, let's move over to, let's see. So that was YouTube. Let's go back to Instagram. What time is it? Oh, yeah, a little long. Okay. So Nathan Dawn wants to know, how long does healing for autoimmune disease take with advanced scleroderma? So advanced scleroderma is a scary autoimmune disease where people's skin gets harder, to be to simplify it as much as possible. And so the skin starts to get harder. They lose elasticity. And in the beginning, it might just be things like there's no more forehead wrinkles, right? They don't have all these forehead wrinkles. They don't, their skin starts to look more kind of plastic. And then over time, it can get to the point where they can't bend properly. They can't open their mouths. If you've watched my classes, David had scleroderma in addition to lupus and Sjogren's, and it's why he had open wounds on all of his fingers, because when he bent his fingers, his skin would tear open and then it wouldn't knit back together again. And if you remember that case, and by the way, my class, I forgot to announce that in the beginning, like classes are still online for free right now up until the middle of next week. So make sure that you watch those. They're free, goodbyelupus.com. One of the cases in the case series that I show in that course, you know, it shows David that all of this, it was so painful and constantly open and infected because he couldn't heal it. And then after only a couple of weeks, his skin closed up. And before he came to me, his doctor said the only thing they could do is amputate his fingers because nothing worked medically. And within 2 weeks of working with me, his skin closed up. And now he's an artist that's actually won competitions in art galleries. He wouldn't be an artist if he didn't have his fingers. I mean, it's just, and that's what my job's about. It's about helping people live their dream, right? It's not about symptoms. It's not about the labs. It's about giving you the freedom to go after your dream and your life and not be held back by illness. That's how I see my work. So for some people, like David, it could be just a matter of a couple of weeks. I did have someone who had very advanced scleroderma do my rapid recovery group. And she was one that couldn't open her mouth. At least she could do smoothie straws, couldn't raise her eyebrows, couldn't smile, you know, and had rigid skin. There was like ridges in her neck skin. It was all so hard. And so she had daily physical therapy while she was in our group. She always did because she was so afraid that she would lose all mobility, and she's a single mom. And what they found, her physical therapist always tested her skin elasticity. And they found within 2 weeks with us in our rapid recovery group, her skin elasticity went up 20%. 20. And just so you can understand, in scleroderma treated only medically, skin elasticity only goes down, never up, never up. But with me, it goes up. And so she actually had it measured. And so she continued to get such good results. She did a second round with us because we also solved her emotional stressors and helped her love herself enough to be social in spite of her deficits, how to have boundaries with her family. When you're in the rapid recovery group, we solve all the issues that are causing inflammation in your life, whether it's your sleep, your stress, your boundaries, your depression. Like, we're just working on everything because we want to get people's inflammation down as quickly as possible and get you happy and healthy as quickly as possible. So we solved all that stuff. And at the end of the second group, she showed us pictures where she could smile, open her mouth, raise her eyebrows. And she said, I never knew I'd be so excited to get wrinkles, but she could do this, right? People get Botox, so they can't do that. I feel like I wouldn't be able to express my how inquisitive I am, right? Without it. But so to answer your question in a long drawn out way, I can't tell you how long it will take for whoever it is you're asking for. I can tell you that it works in a miraculous way, extremely rapidly when you do the full Goodbye Autoimmune protocol, especially when you've got our supervision to make sure everything in your lifestyle is optimized. By the way, another scleroderma case that was in a recent group of ours, she had the ulcers in her fingers. They get these ulcers like David had, where it's painful to touch anything. Imagine that in your life. And she was in a clinical trial for a new medicine for skin ulcers. And she did a rapid recovery group at the same time. And what they found was in this clinical trial, only one person's ulcers healed. Guess who? Guess. The one in our group. And hers healed within 2 weeks, just like David's, just like usual for us. And when she joined the clinical trial, they told her if she was the only one to heal, they would be very curious about my protocol. And then when the clinical trial ended, they said they'd look it up, but they weren't really interested. She's like, I'll give you her number. Weren't interested. So that's how it is. But it's very, very effective in a very scary, debilitating disease. So how long it will take to get back to normal, I don't know. If you can get back to normal, I also don't know. There's some people who are going to have scar tissue that doesn't come back, but it's the best thing you could do to get yourself as healthy as possible and get to that remission so it won't progress. I highly and strongly recommend it. All right. It's a little late, but let me rapid fire a couple. So dermatomyositis, yes, I have a rapid recovery group graduate who I was texting not that long ago, WhatsApping, who's been in remission for years since doing our group. Let me see here. And Helen Relic, I got myocardial encephalitis and possibly stroke from COVID. I am so sorry. That is devastating. I'm waiting on MRI. Can I make a savory smoothie with heavy garlic to heal as much as possible? Yeah. If you prefer to have it savory, you can totally do that. I hope you're feeling better soon. And let's see. And then Ascension, psoriasis. It seems to be flaring while I'm trying the protocol. Can it get worse before it gets better? Is it a sign that I'm healing? Possibly. There are some people, especially in the first week, symptoms get worse before they get better. But if it's been longer, then it might be you're actually reacting to something. Psoriasis is complicated. I've been helping people with psoriasis recover for many, many years. And while most people will get full recovery just following the protocol as is, sometimes there are people who have strange sensitivities to a certain kind of salt, to a certain fabric, to a certain humidity or temperature. I mean, if there's an outlier, we find them. And sometimes we have to solve things more specifically. So I'd be looking at that. All right, a couple quick ones off of the YouTube and Facebook side. And then I am going to have to go so I can see my next client. So let me see. There's something we haven't answered today. Okay. And Felipe is saying diagnosed with Sjogren's joint muscle pain, been on Goodbye Lupus protocol since December. I lost my mother at 21, my husband at 22, my dogs at 23. Can you speak to the timeline to heal from stress? First of all, it's a lot of loss. And that's one of the reasons you have all this illness. How long does it take to heal from emotional trauma? That really depends on what you're doing. The fastest I've seen is being able to work with people every day. There's a reason why people's emotional health gets so much better in my rapid recovery programs is because they're listening to me every day. Many of you have given me the feedback that when you listen to me once a week here on Wellness Wednesday, that it gives you inspiration and motivation to keep going, that it lifts your spirits. And man, does that make me happy. And for some people, that wears off too quickly. But hearing me every day and knowing that I'm looking at over their shoulder and helping them through, that makes a difference so much faster. So people can actually change their mood and feel happiness again, that have been very anxious and depressed for a long time. That happens in our 6-week group, right? Versus when I see people for therapy, it can take longer because, again, I'm getting an hour a week. I can fill you up a lot in an hour, but it starts leaking again once you go back to your life, and then we have to refill, right? So the more you work on it, the faster you get better. Make sure you're working with a good therapist, that you are making sure you're working on it every day, whether it's with your therapist, your therapy homework, your self-care. You've got to do the work to heal from the traumas. They don't just heal like a scab on your arm that just like if you just put a Band-Aid on it, it goes away. Trauma wounds need, it's kind of like Neosporin. They need the right therapy, self-care, self-love, self-talk to recover, but you absolutely can. The Sjogren's is kind of like your body's way of asking for that help, and doing the full Goodbye Autoimmune protocol with the emotional work and the nutrition is going to be the key to healing all of it. And when you feel better emotionally, that's just like the healing from the pain is just a bonus for most folks. I hope you're feeling better soon. And Joanne, does it help with familial hypercholesterolemia? Yep. I've worked with people that everyone in their family, there's one guy, he has a podcast now, but he did my program because he had familial hypercholesterolemia. It's not easy, guys. And they thought he was going to have a heart attack as a teenager. And yet when he did my protocol, completely normalized his cholesterol, and it was high. He decided to stay raw after that because nothing else had worked so well. Okay, let me see. One more to end it out. Great to see you too, Annette. It does show up when you find, oh my God, I have to check now. Somebody said they were able to find my hardcover. No, like during my talk, you're saying it came up? Now I have to check. Let's see. All formats. I don't see it yet. All right, let me try what you said. Hello Delicious hardcover. If you found it, I'm going to be so excited. And I know I'm like at baseline excited. Yeah, wait a minute. Let's see. Hardcover. Okay. Yeah. You know what? Well, you're right. Thank you. Thank you, Artsy Ant. So it's not propagating on its own yet, which is probably just because the website has to update itself. But it's true. If you write in Goodbye Lupus, Hello Delicious hardcover, it does come up. So it is live. That is super cool. So yay. So right now it is available. I'm really excited to see that. Thank you so much. Here, I'll put the link in. Yay, look at that. Just during the magic of Wellness Wednesday, it has appeared. All right, everybody. With that, I hope this helped you out. I absolutely love coming here and giving all the free coaching and counseling I can. And I got to get back to seeing my appointments. So if you are going to join my group, please don't waste time now, because like I said, when I checked this morning, there was 5 spots left. I haven't checked it in hours. I don't know. If you are, and if you're worried about it, listen, once it's full, I'll update the website. Sometimes it fills up all at the same time. If it does fill up, what will happen is you'll automatically be waitlisted. I will reach out to you and let you know. And oftentimes, right in the days before the group starts, somebody has panic and decides to switch to appointments or upgrades to private or something. And so waitlist spots will open up. And then if you don't get that spot, then you either guarantee yourself into the next group, or you can change to appointments, or you can figure something out. But right now, well, as far as I knew before I started, there's still some spots left, but there won't be probably in the next day or two. So make sure you check that out and enjoy my book. Even in Japan and Australia and all the other places that couldn't get it before, you can get it now. I'm so excited. I finally delivered on my promise of this recipe book. It was not easy, but I did it. So hope you all enjoy it, and I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and be